conversion mean we
Yes.
convert one data type to another data type.
Yes. So type conversion simply mean convert one data type from one data type from one data type to another. Okay, how can we do this type conversion? Now we have two types of conversion. We have implicit and we have explicit. Now implicit JavaScript, it's automatically do that for you. Implicit conversion. For example, if I, for example, try to console.log something very simple, so let's try to log something very simple, and if I say 1 plus 1 for 1 plus 1 as a string, here, what JavaScript is going to do? Any idea what JavaScript is going to do here? I did explain this one, so I have 1
11
plus 1 string. I know as a result it will be 11, but what does JavaScript do here?
Concat the.
JavaScript cannot concatenate because we have two different data type here. We have a number and then we have a string. JavaScript do something.
Convert the the one in the string.
Yes, so that's what we called implicit coercion or implicit type conversion. So JavaScript is going to convert this number to string, and then because both of them are string, it's going to concatenate them, simply like that. So that's what we call implicit conversion. JavaScript automatically do it for you. And your job just to understand what's going on, that's it. So you don't do it yourself, JavaScript is doing it for you. Again, implicit conversion or coercion, we call it conversion or coercion, whatever you want to call it. Conversion, it will be easy for you. What JavaScript is doing here, sometimes JavaScript need to convert from one data type to another data type. In this example, what JavaScript is going to do here, because this is a number and this is string, it cannot add them. So if I have one operand here, one of them is a string, JavaScript is going to convert the second one into string, and then it's going to concatenate them. And the result, it will be 11. Is the idea clear?
Yeah.
Again, implicit coercion or implicit conversion, JavaScript automatically do this conversion for you. That's the first type. The second type here, what we call explicit type conversion or coercion. That means you need to do it yourself. Okay, from which data type I can convert to which other data type? Well, I can convert from, so I can convert from number like that to string. I can convert from number to a Boolean, I can convert from Boolean to string, or from string to Boolean, or so I can convert between these three data type only. That means I can convert a number to string or a Boolean. I can convert a string to a Boolean or number to Boolean. And I can convert number and Boolean, both of them, to string. So that's the three data type we can make a conversion in JavaScript. Is the idea clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, coercion or type conversion, that means JavaScript need to convert from one data type to another. JavaScript normally do that, or do the conversion between these three types, which is Boolean, string, and number only. So what's happening here, I can also convert null, by the way. I can convert null to a Boolean. I can convert undefined to a Boolean. But that's the three data type JavaScript normally do the conversion between them. And also I can do conversion between them. Again, implicit coercion here or conversion here, JavaScript automatically do for you. Explicit one, you need to convert from one data type to another. So how can I convert from string to a number? If you remember the example yesterday here, let's say I want to ask the user to enter a number for me. So for example, I can just say const user input. I'm just declaring a variable. It's equal. I will ask the user, give me a number. So I need to use prompt. Prompt, it's a method to ask the user for input. And here I can say, please enter a number. And as I told you, what will be the result here? What data type it will be user input here? What data type it will be?
String.
All the time it will be string. All the time it will be string. So anything we take from the input here, it will be string. Even if you enter a number, it will be string. And just to convince you here, I can just type the type of the user input, and also I can log the user input. So let's go to our study licenses and try to run this code. So if I refresh here, as you can see, I have my code here. So let's click on here. And now what I'm going to do here, let me ignore the first line here. I don't need it anyway. So this guy, I don't need it. Now, of course, when my program runs, so let's try to run our program. As you can see, it will ask me, please enter a number. If I enter a number like 12 like that, and I see okay, and now I go to the console, it's telling me here, the number you enter is 12, but the format here, the data type, it will be a string. Now, of course, in this example, when I ask the user for a number, that means I don't want it in form of string. I want this number to do some calculation. So it doesn't make sense to stay as a string. I need somehow to convert it to a number. So how can I convert this guy here to a number? Yes. I can just say, declare another variable, and I can just say const user number. And notice here, the first one was user input, and the second one, it will be user number. So to convert to a number, we already have a function called number, and notice it starts with uppercase N, and voila. Now here, if I pass this value here, which is the user input, which will be in form of string, to this function here, which is number, it will automatically convert it to a number. And now if I log it, let's just try to log it here. And here I can now say user number, and also I want to type the type of user number. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? So again, here at this line, I'm asking the user for input using the prompt. Anything I put in the prompt, it will be in form of string, anything. So what I need to do here? Well, I'm asking the user for a number. That means I need somehow to convert this number, or this is whatever I entered, it will be string. So I need to convert it to a number. So how can I convert it to a number? It's really simple. All I have to do, I need to use this function number, and I need to pass whatever I want to convert to a number. If I do so, here it will give me the number, which is user number. Now I am logging the user number and also the type of user number. Let's run our program again. Click, I enter 12. Notice what will happen. Okay, now it will tell me, see, now it's number and the type is number, as you can see. So that's an example where we need to convert a string to a number. Is the idea clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
For everyone?
Yes.
Susanna?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So
And
we've
Sam?
seen, yes.
And what if they enter some letters and it cannot be converted to number?
Well, that's a good question. So what I'm going to do here now, let's try to run it here, and let's try to run hello. Now, when I do that, also I will have something called, so it will be a number, but we have something called nan. So nan means it's not a number. Nan, it means it is not a number. That means JavaScript try to convert whatever I enter to a number, but it cannot convert it to a number because I just entered hello, and I cannot convert hello to a number logically. So it will give me something, we call it nan. The type of nan, I know it's confusing, but again, nan means not a number. That means JavaScript cannot convert this text to a number, but the type of nan is a number. Although it's not a number, but in JavaScript here, it's also considered enter a number. Is the idea clear, Malloy?
Yes. Then in this case, what would you do?
If I don't, okay. So what I can do here, so let's say I want only numbers here. So what I can do here, let's just go to my VS Code. It will be easier to see. Now what I can do, I can just put some condition here. So I can just say if, and my number here, I have a function to check if it's nan or not. So I don't want to go to the function now. I will explain it later. The function I'm not going to use is nan. So what I can do here, if I can just say if user number like that, actually it will so even if I check the type, it will not work. So I need to use this function, which is called isNan. Now, what does this isNan is doing? Well, it's quite simple, isNan. It will return a Boolean, either true or false. So if I pass any value to this isNan function or method, if it's not a number, it will return true. If it's a number, it will return false. And now here I can just do something, for example, invalid, something like that. Yes. So we have a function in JavaScript which is called isNaN. So I need now, of course, we will see that through when we build the program. But for now, what I can do, I can check the user here, the number. So to check the number, to check if it is not a number or not. So what I can do, I can pass it to this method, which is called isNaN. isNaN is a method, as you can see, I need to pass something inside it, and it will return me a Boolean. So return a Boolean value that indicate whether the value is none or not. So again, if this value is none, that means it will return true, and then here it will log its invalid number. If this one is a number here, okay, then is none, it will return false, and I will not see this one here. Yes, let's try to test it. Let's go here, refresh, and try to run our program. So run. First time I'm gonna enter, maybe I can open my DevTools first. Okay, I've opened my DevTools. Now let's run my program here. So what I'm going to do here, I can run. And after that here, I can enter a number, 12. If I say, okay, notice nothing in the console happen. Why? Because when I'm checking the user input is none, it's not a none. So it's here, it will return false. Because this one returned false, this console.log is never gonna happen. So this is what we are checking the value. But if I go here again and I type, for example, test, notice it's telling me it's invalid number, as you can see. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, let's just debug it as well so it becomes super clear for everyone. So let's try to debug our code. Let's go here. Yes, click.
Yeah.
Now here, yes, Harley, do you have a question?
Yeah. Okay. After you debug that, I want to be clear about, to use the function so we can type number and we can type also word, so it can be able to work at the same time. If you can show us that one, that will be clear, please.
Yes, I'm debugging it so you can see it.
After debug, yeah.
Let's try to go line by line. Click. Now let's enter a text here. I can just say hello, for example. Voila. And now when I do so, notice if I go to this line here, if I have a row for is and it's, so JavaScript, I'm trying to convert the hello to a number. Of course, it's not possible. So it will give me none, as you can see, not a number. And when I pass none here with this guy here to is none, it will give me true. Why? Because the value is not a number, as you can see. Because it's true here, it will type invalid number, as you can see. Voila. Let's try it with the real number. So again, if I debug my code, go to the next line here, try to do this one here. Let's try with 12. If I say, okay, now here's a number, it will convert it to number. As you can see, it's 12. I'm passing 12 to this is none. It will give me false. Why? Because 12 is not a number, so it's not none. So this function will return false, and after that, this condition, it will never be executed. Is the idea clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No, what is not clear?
I need to go ahead. I want you to see how you can be able to convert it if when you use the two one, the word and the number.
But I just did it 2 times. What's the problem? Tell me what's the problem so I can
Okay, now we said that if none, so when you put no, it's not giving the valid, right? I know when you use the const and you do not use the condition, it will give you, work as usual when you put like words. Now, then when you put condition, then is you put a condition invalid number. So then if you want to put when you type both of them, it will not show anything. We say invalid number because they are not meeting the condition. But what I'm trying to say is that I want a condition that will be able to type both word and we will be able to get the values for if you type number or if you type word.
Does anyone understand what's Harry trying to say?
Yes.
Could you please explain, Catherine?
I think he wants to, if I understand correctly, in fact, he wants to identify the number in a string. So for example, like Harley 1, 2, 3, he wants to identify the 1, 2, 3. So in this case, maybe we can use includes. So is it possible to use includes to identify the number in a string?
No, no. So you want to add number and a string together. Is that what you're trying to do, Harley?
No. So now with this condition right now, when you type none, can you run it, please?
Yes, run it here. Yes.
Type number.
What number?
Like 12. Let me say 12.
12.
Okay. Can we see the dev tool?
Yes, we see DevTools here. Let's go to the console here. Let's type run and let's enter 12 again. Yes. Okay.
Okay. The condition showing that it's invalid number, right?
No, it
Now,
shouldn't show. It shouldn't show its invalid number. So let's try to run it again here. And here, if I input 12, click, and it doesn't show me its invalid number.
and where is the 12 then?
Again, let's run 12. You want 12?
Yeah.
12 is stored in this variable here, in user number.
But
So
it's
you
not
have
showing
to,
on the console. That's what I'm saying. I don't see it on the console.
Oh, yeah, all you have to do
Yeah,
is
you
just
have
need to
to make-
log it. Well,
Yes,
log
yeah.
it, that's it.
yeah.
It's not something difficult here.
Okay,
You just
thank you.
need
Now I now understand what is going on.
You just
Or
need
you
to
can
log it,
put
that's it.
the else condition, maybe you can add a else condition.
Yeah, no need. I'm just logging it here.
Yeah.
That's fine. 12. Okay, well, that's 12 here.
Okay.
Let's
And
try again.
if we type hello now,
Hello. It will give me nan because it can, when it converts hello to a number, when I convert hello to a number, it will be not a number, it will be nan. So it will log nan and also it will show me the message as well.
all right.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, yeah.
Okay, so that's one example how we can convert a string to a number. What if I want to convert a number to string for some reason? How can I do that? Well, let me get rid of this one. All I have to do now, I can just say const, let's say num. My number is, I can add any number I want to. Let's add this number 234. And now I want somehow to convert this number to a string. If I convert this number to string, what it will give me? Should be simple. If I convert it to string, what it will give me?
You get a string.
It will give me 234 in form of string. So it will just surround it by single quote.
You give it a string.
So how can I convert a number to a string or a Boolean to a string or anything to a string? All I have to do here, I can just simply use a function, and this function called string. So I can just say const stringy number. I will just name it stringy num, or you can just a variable here. All I have to do now, I need to convert it to string. So I can just type string. And notice again, this function here also starts with uppercase, as you can see, just like numbers. So here I can pass my number to this string. And now if I log this stringy number, it will give me a string simply, as you can see. So I'm logging the variable here, and also I'm logging the type of this variable. If I go to my console and I refresh, I click run, and as you can see, it gives me 234, and the data type, it will be string, as you can see. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Should be simple. So if I convert this one to string, it will simply be like that. Voila, that's it. I can convert anything to string, anything I want to. That's okay. Actually, the normal conversion, it will be between these three data type, which will be num, number, Boolean, and string. Simply like that. Now here, Boolean, conversion to Boolean is super important. So convert to a number is simple. All I have to use, I need to use this function, which is called number, with uppercase like that. And I can pass my value, any value I want to here, a string or Boolean, it will convert it. So if I pass this one here, which is a stringy one, it will give me one as a number. For string, if I just pass a number here in my string, it will just give me the opposite. It will give me stringy number. String number is just a number surrounded by a single quote or double quote, simply like that. But how can I convert to a Boolean? Or to convert to a Boolean, I can also use this function, which is called Boolean. Now, to convert to a Boolean is super important, actually, to understand. Why? Because most of our loops and our conditions here, if statements, that depend on the loop. So the value must be evaluated to either true or false. So let me go to my console here and let's try to convert some value to a Boolean. So here, let's try Boolean like that. Now, if I pass any number, what do you think? What do you think it will be, true or false? So for example, if I pass minus 12, what do you think it will give me, true or false? Again, I'm trying to convert a number to a Boolean. A Boolean, either it will two value, either it will be false, either it will be true. And now I'm trying to convert minus 12. Do you think it will be truthy or it will be falsy?
It will be
False.
maybe
Truthy.
Minus 12, it's actually truthy. Let's try again. If I pass any number I want to, minus million, what do you think it will be?
It will be true.
It will be truthy.
Truthy.
Voila. So any number I converted to a Boolean, it will be truthy except 0. Let's try to convert 0. Voila. If I convert 0, it will be falsy. Any other number, it will be truthy. It doesn't matter if it's a negative number or positive number, always it will be truthy except 0. That's for
What of
numbers.
null?
Again,
Null is going to be falsy, right? Null.
just wait. Now we are talking
okay,
about
right.
numbers. Okay. So numbers here, any number I pass, it will be true or truthy. Actually, that's what we call truthy or falsy. But anyway, you will see that in the exercise later, truthy or falsy. So true, we just call it truthy because JavaScript, when it convert a number to a Boolean here, it give me true. We have only for number one case, which is give me falsy if this one is 0. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to string. If I pass any string to a Boolean, what do you think it will be? Truthy or falsy?
It will
If I
be
pass, yes,
it will be true.
it will be.
It will be true.
I did not get you, Arthur. What it will be what?
It will be true. Not false.
It will
What
be
is the
true.
question again,
Yes.
please?
Yes.
Ah,
It's
so
true.
if I pass a string to a Boolean, that means I want to convert a string
It's
to a
gonna be-
Boolean.
It's going
It
to be
will be
false.
true.
False.
Why?
Falsy. Because
Well-
it's like a word and it's empty.
Well, it's truthy actually. So all string are truthy except the empty string. Only the empty string, it will be falsy. All other string, it will be truthy. Those are rules you need to understand because, again, when we go to condition here, we will use a lot of this stuff. You need to understand if I convert this one to this one, what it will be. It will be truthy or falsy. So all numbers are truthy except 0. All string are truthy except empty string. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to something else. If I convert undefined to a Boolean, it will be truthy or falsy. If I convert undefined to a Boolean, it will be truthy or falsy.
Falsy.
So undefined, it will be actually falsy, yes. Voila. Okay, we have 2 more falsy value, and that is actually most of the value are truthy except 5 value only. Let's go here, and if I convert null to a Boolean, it will be truthy or falsy. If I convert null to a Boolean, it will be truthy or falsy.
False.
Falsy.
It will be falsy. Okay, and I have the last value. So as you can see here, we have only actually 5 values which are falsy. 0, empty string, undefined, and null. That's 4 value are falsy, and the last value is none, which is not a number. If I try to convert none to a Boolean, it will give me false, as you can see. So we only have 5 false value in JavaScript, actually. That's it. All the other value are truthy. The 5 value here is 0 in all numbers 0. It's falsy. So it's easy to remember the falsy value because there are only 5. Because the other one, all of them are truthy. So 0 is falsy, empty string is falsy, null is falsy, undefined is falsy, and Boolean, and not a number is a falsy. Now you may ask me why we are studying this falsy or truthy, and why will be important? Well, let me show you. Just a simple example. Let me get rid of this code here. And now what I'm going to do here, let me just actually remove all of that. Let's just keep it, it's fine. Now here, what I can do here, I can just say if null, then I'm gonna do something. I can just print here log something. Now, do you think now null here, as I told you in the condition here, this value need to be evaluated to Boolean? Because in this condition here, this one, it will only accept a Boolean, either true or false. If it's true, this code will be executed. If it's false, it will not be executed. So what JavaScript need to do here, it need to convert these values. That's what we call implicit conversion. So JavaScript, it will try to convert this value to a Boolean. Again, inside the if here, this value here, it must be changed to Boolean. If it's not a Boolean, it doesn't make sense. This condition is not gonna work. Because the concept of statement here, this guy, it will only run if this one true or false. Other than that, it cannot understand anything. So JavaScript need to convert this value now to Boolean. And now my question for you, do you think this code is going to be executed or not?
No.
Why?
No, it will
Why?
not, because
Because
it's
it's
false.
false.
False value return.
Yeah, we don't call it false, we call it falsy. And also, I know, but that's the idea. We call it falsy or truthy. So when we try to convert something, or JavaScript try to convert something to a Boolean, we just call it falsy or truthy. Now here, because null is falsy, of course, this code here never gonna be executed. But if I come here and I say if one, do you think this code is gonna be executed or not?
Yes.
Actually, let me run it before. Just let me run it just to make sure that. Hey, let me go here to study licenses, and let's try to run the code. And as you can see, I have nothing. As you can see, why I have nothing? Because simply JavaScript converts this one to a Boolean, because I need a Boolean here. So null is a false value, so this one is never going to be executed. Well, if I say one, well, is this code is going to be executed or not? Yes. Why?
Because one, it's a number. It's
truthy. Yeah.
truthy.
So
Yeah.
all number are truthy except 0. But if I try with 0, of course, it's not going to be executed as well. Why? Because 0 is false value. Those convert to a Boolean is super, super important because we're going to use it a lot in our code when we build a project. So it's very important for you to understand now when I say truthy or falsy, you need to understand why I'm doing that. Let me show you another example. For example, if I ask the user here, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to ask the user to enter something. So I can just say const user input. Again, it's just a variable name. You can name it whatever you want. I want to prompt the user. So I can just say prompt, please enter something. I will not ask him to enter a number. I will just say enter something. Now, I can do this one here, something. Like that. Okay. Now, what I can do here to check if the user enter something or not, I can do it in an ugly way, or I can do it in very nice way. So the ugly way, it will be here. I can check here. I can just say, for example, if user input, it's equal to what the different. So I want when the user enter nothing and just click OK. And also if the user just click cancel, I want to tell him you did not enter anything. So when the user click OK without entering anything, the value it will be? The value it will be?
Empty string.
Empty string. Let's confirm it. Before this one, let's confirm it. So let me log the user input here. Let's go here. So we understand what's going on here. So now notice here in the console, I'm logging the user input. So if I click run, and now if I click OK without entering anything, so I have empty string, as you can see. Not here, I have empty string, as you can see. That's fine. So again, if the user just click OK without entering anything, it will give me empty string. But if the user, again, let me run my program. If the user click cancel, it will give me null, as you can see. And that's the reason why we type if the user input is equal to empty string or it's equal to null, then I want to do something. That means the user either he click cancel or he click OK without entering anything. But if the user enters something, voila, that's whatever the user enter here. It will give me a string, as you can see. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Good. So what I want to do, well, I want to check if the user just click OK without entering anything, or the user click on cancel, I need to tell him you did not enter anything. So to check this one, I can type it this way. I can type if, come on, I can type if user input is equal to null, when it will be null? When it will be null? When the user just click?
Cancel.
Cancel. And here also empty string, when it will be empty string? When the user just click OK without entering anything. So I can write my code this way. I can just say, for example, here, you did not enter anything. Voila. So as you can see, I can put this condition. And now here, if I do this one here, and I try to run it, if I click on OK, it's you did not enter anything. Why? Because here, when the user click OK, it will be an empty string. I can do the same here and try it with cancel. You did not enter anything. Again, now here I can run it and enter something. So if I enter something, click OK, it will not give me this message because now here it is not null, it's not empty string. Well, what I can do now, if I know truthy or falsy, I can get rid of all this ugly code. And all I have to do, I can just use user input alone, just like that. Voila. And here I can just say, if no user input. Voila. And now here it will do the same job for me. Let's try to test it first. If I run and here type cancel, still you did not enter anything. Let's try again with OK without entering anything. You did not enter anything. Let's try again when we enter something and should not give me the message, and it does not give me the message, as you can see. So this is a nice code. It's the same as the previous code when I say user input strictly equal to null or strictly equal to an empty string. But why is that? Can anyone tell me why this code is working? Yes. If the user click OK, without entering anything, what will be the value here?
Empty string.
Okay, empty string is truthy or falsy?
It's truthy.
It's falsy. That means this one is false. Not false, it will be?
True.
Not false, it will be?
It will be truthy.
It will be true.
True. That means, voila, I'm doing this one. Okay. If the user hit cancel, what I will get?
No.
Is null truthy or falsy value?
Also.
It's false.
Okay, falsy. Not false is true. And
So,
that's the reason why this one, voila. So as you can see here, when you know the concept of truthiness or falsiness, you can make your code more elegant. You can understand it also in another way, very simply. You can just say if there is no user input. And so no user input here means that the user either cancel or enter nothing and just hit OK. If no user input. If the user input is any string, not an empty string, it will be truthy, and not truthy, not true, it will be false. And if it is one false, this code is not being executed, simply like that. Is it quite clear?
yes. So if you type many spaces in the prompt,
Yes. Let's try.
it will be false or
No.
okay.
So in JavaScript, if you, this one here, so if, okay, that's empty string in JavaScript. That's empty string. That's not empty string. Okay, the white space is considered, that's what you call white space. So space 1, 2, 3, that's considered a character in programming, not just in JavaScript, in all programming language. Okay, let's try to test it anyway. Run, and now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to add space, 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 enter, and as you can see, it does not give me this one here. Cool.
Yes.
So white space is not an empty string, no. It's considered a character, even if it's just a space, but it is a character actually. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So now we know how to convert between a string to a number, and a string to a Boolean, and a number to a Boolean, or number to string, string and number to Boolean, which is the concept of truthiness and falsiness. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, you will see all of that in example in your repo, in this module and the next module. If you don't find it in currently now for these modules, the next module you will find it. So that's I'm not going to teach you anything you're not going to use. So you're going to use this concept next in a lot of exercises. It explains with a lot of exercise the concept of truthiness and falsiness. How can I convert between the data type? But I think the idea should be clear if I am not mistaken. Susanna, it's okay with you?
Yes.
Good. So that's what we call coercion or conversion. So type conversion, it's simply we have two type here, let's say, or we have two type of conversion. One of them is implicit, that means JavaScript is doing that for you. The second one is explicit, that means you are doing it here as a programmer. And as you can see, most of the time in JavaScript, we convert between string, Boolean, numbers, and like that. And if you are not sure about anything, it's super simple. All you have to do, you can just go to your console, and now let's try to convert something to number, for example. If you're trying to convert something to a number, all you have to do, you just need to use this function, and voila, and as you can see, it's give me none, as expected. If you are not sure about if something is truthy or falsy, it's also super simple. Just type Boolean, and you can pass whatever you want to here. Here, for example, voila, as you can see. And it's the same also for string, of course. So you can use this three function here to convert between the data type. Is the idea clear? Should be. Let me get rid of this example, and let me get rid of this one anyway. Okay, we understand the concept on type conversion or type coercion. So let's go to loops here. And here yesterday I explained some type of loops, but I'm gonna repeat them again. So in JavaScript, we have different type of loops. The first type of loop is what's called the for loop. Of course, the for loop, as I told you, let me get rid of those are annoying. Okay, so what is the for loop? Well, the for loop here, it allows me to loop certain times. Normally, in all the loops, your loop should run a certain number of times, and after that, it should stop. Your loop should not run infinitely. Otherwise, it will be an infinite loop. Infinite loop is always a bad idea. Always. Okay, let's have a look at the structure of the for loop. So the structure of the for loop is like that. All I have to do just for, and I need parentheses. Then I need the initializer. The initializer, that means I need to tell my loop where to start. So I need to declare a variable. Let I, normally we start from 0 or 1 or whatever you want to. And that's what you call the first part. We have 3 parts in for loop. They are separated by semicolons. That's the syntax like that. After that, I need to put my condition. I want this loop run until this condition becomes false. So as long as I less than 100, for example. And after that, here, I need to either increment or decrement. Increment, that means increment I by 1. Decrement means subtract or decrement I by 1 as well. So here, I need to decide here. When I write my loop now, this part is super important. Because if I'm not careful, I may end up with infinite loop. So if I type, for example, I minus minus, what do you think this loop will be?
infinity loop
Why?
because never
Always, yes, always I, it will be less than 100. Why? Because I is 0, and I'm saying decrement I. That means the first time it will check 0. Is 0 less than 100? Yes, it is. So it will go do whatever inside this block, the code, and come back here and make 0. Now it will minus it by 1. So it will become -1. Check -1 less than 100. So -2, -3, -million, -10 million, -trillion. All the times they will be less than 100. Is the idea clear? Yes?
yes.
Yes.
So in this example, it doesn't make sense to decrement, but I need to increment. Now, if I'm using increment here, as you can see, it's obvious that my loop, it will stop at some point. When my loop will stop? When this condition here, it will be false. When?
99.
When I become?
Become I will be 99.
But 99 less than 100, so it's still true.
Yeah.
When it's 100, it will stop.
When it become
100, it will stop.
100. So when I is 100, 100 is not less than 100, and this one become false. That means my loop here, I'm starting from 0, it will loop 100 times. And now here, what I can do, I can simply, for example, I can log I, or I can just console.log hello, whatever you want to. It doesn't really matter.
Sam,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
is there the infinite loop, for example, right now, if you do minus, and of course it's going to go on an infinite loop, right? But
Mm-hmm.
is there anything in JavaScript that can actually use minus, and it will put like -0, for example, and it will be able to do like not infinite loop? Is that possible or it never possible?
Of course, it's possible. Let's try to do, I will show you the example. Let me finish this one, I'll show you example. It is possible, yes. So what's happening here, I'm starting from 0, it will loop until I is 100. If I is 100, it will not type here. So I will not see 100 in my console. Why? Because my condition, I must be less than 100. If I want to type 100 as well, there's two options. Either I can say less than or equal, or I can start not from 0, I can start from 1 if I want to. Voila. And if I actually know that's not, will not solve the problem. So let's start from 0 here. Now, if I want to include the 100, all I have to do, equal. And now here, my condition here, if I is 100, it will still execute my code. Why? Because I'm saying as long as I is less or equal to 100. But when we become 101, 101 is not less or equal to 100. So it will stop my loop. If I go here, refresh, and try again, as you can see, I have from 0 until 100 included. If I don't want the 100, all I have to do, just depending on my condition really, I can just make it this way. And when I is less than 100, when it become 100, 100 is not less than 100, and it will stop at 99. Click, refresh, run, and voila, 99. Is the idea of the for loop is clear?
Yes. Okay.
Do I have any for loop? Do I have a nice image here? Well, this one is not bad. So how does for loop works? Ignore this one here, and it's, by the way, the for loop does not just exist in JavaScript, in all programming language. Here it's in C, for example, or in Java or whatever. So how does the for loop work? Well, the idea is quite simple actually. When I understand it, it becomes super simple. So maybe I can find a better image. Yeah, this may be a little bit better here. So what will happen here? So here I am, that's my initializer here, that's my starting point. I'm declaring a variable, and I'm saying this variable starts from 0. So what JavaScript is going to do? The first thing JavaScript is going to do, it will take I, and then it will check this condition. It will check if I is less than 10. So as you can see, nothing of the code, it will be executed. If this condition is false, nothing in my code is going to be executed. So the first thing here, JavaScript takes this value and then try to compare it. Is 0 less than 10? If it's true, then it will execute the code. And when it executes the code, it will come to this value and then it will increment by 1, then it will check the condition again. So as you can see in for loop, all the time, before executing the code, we need to check the condition. Even the first time. So I need to check the condition and then I'm gonna do I will execute the code. Then I'm gonna increment and check the condition again. Is the idea of the for loop is quite clear or not?
Yes, we can say body of the loop. It will go to body of the loop.
Yes, that's the body of the loop. Oh, no. That's the body of the loop, yes. Now I'm gonna show you something here. Let me make this condition false. And I can do that because simply the second part is just a condition, and condition at the end, it will be evaluated to what? The condition at the end need to be evaluated to what? I'm asking a question. So the condition here, any condition need to be evaluated to?
The truth.
To a Boolean. So it need to be evaluated to a Boolean. Is it true or false? Now
Yes.
here, do you think my code here will be executed or not? Do you think the body of the loop here, this code is going to be executed or not?
No.
It should be executed because if it's false, it should be able to execute. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, but I just told you how the for loop works. So it will just check I is 0. It will come here. It will check the conditions. The condition is false. Because the condition is false, it will never execute anything.
Sam, I have a question.
Yes.
In the other type of loop, you need to read the condition in the same way like this one, or that change.
What do you mean?
Like the condition, if I is equal to 0, in the other type of loop, is in the same way, or that change?
You mean here or you mean
Yeah.
here?
No, the other, there.
This one.
Yeah.
Just the initializer. You can make whatever you want to. I is 1, I is million, I is 10. It depends on your need.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. In the other type of loop, you need to
This
do
one.
the same.
No.
No, in the ones you are going to explain later.
No. All loops are different. They have
Okay.
different syntax. Not if they are the same, then why I have two different type of loops?
Okay.
They are not the same. They are different.
Okay.
Okay, let me try to do another thing. For example, as long as I...
If it's true, will it be an infinitive loop?
True. If I put true here, it will be infinite loop. Why? Because this condition is always will be true. Always it will be true. True is never gonna change here. So this here, it will be infinite loop. I less than 10. Again, how the for loop work? First, I'm declaring this variable. JavaScript is gonna check the value of this variable. Let's make it 0. It will check the value of these variables. Then it will go to here. It will check the condition here. If it's true, it will execute my code. Then it come here and it will increment I by 1. Then it will check the condition again. If the condition is true, it's gonna execute my loop here, of the body of the loop. Then it will go up here, increment by 1. Then it checks the condition again. Is the idea clear of the for loop? Yes, no? So if for some reason, if it checks the condition the first time and it was false, my code is never gonna be executed. Yes, Harley? Harley, you can hear me?
Yeah.
So depending on this condition here, if it's true, then the body of the loop, it will be executed. Then I'm incrementing by 1. It need to check the condition again. For loop and while loop, both of them first check the condition. And if the condition is true, then they will execute the code. Then they will increment this iterator here, I. They will increment it, check the condition again. As long as the condition is true, this code is gonna run. And now here, if I go to my study lenses and try to run this one, as you can see, it will run from 0 to 9, as you can see. It will not include 10 because my condition is I less than 10. So if it's 10 here, 10 is not equal to 10. I'm sorry, 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10. So this condition, it will be false. That's the reason why I cannot see 10 in the console. Because when this one is 10, this condition is false, and the body of the loop, it will never be executed. Yes? I feel like I'm explaining how to create a rocket or something like that.
Yes.
I mean, that should be simple. I've explained multiple times.
Yes.
Anyone does not understand the for loop, tell me now so we can take another example or do something. Unless, of course, you understand it. Is the for loop clear?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Yes.
Yes, for me is okay.
Now let's go to the while loop. While loop, the structure is a bit different. So the syntax of the while loop is also quite different, actually. In while loop, normally I should start creating a variable. So normally we use this iterator, but we don't always need the iterator, by the way. Sometimes we need it, sometimes we don't need it, depending how we write our loop. Let me show you what do I mean. I can just say let I it's equal to 0. I can do that. And then here I can just say while, I can put my condition, while I is this like 10, then I want to do something. So as long as this condition here is true, whatever the body of the loop, it will be executed. When it becomes false, it will stop. Here I just want to log I, and here there's something super important. I need to increment this I. If I did not increment I, what this loop, what it will be? If I did not increment I, this loop, what it will be?
Infinite loop.
It will be infinite loop. Why?
This is always true.
Yes, because always I is 0 and always 0 is less than 10. So always here, because I'm not changing I all the time, it will be 0. And 0 all the time is less than 10. And that's the reason why in the while loop, you need to be careful. If you have iterator, you need to increment it. So if I increment it here, either increment or decrement, of course. Of course, if I decrement, it doesn't make sense. Why? Because if I say minus, minus, now I will also have infinite loop. Why? Because I is 0, then it will become -1, -2, minus million, blah, blah, and all the time this minus, it will be less than 10. So I will end up with infinite loop. But if I just say plus, plus, at some point, it will become 10, and 10 is not less than 10, so it will stop. If I go here and I try to run my code, as you can see, while loop 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, until it reaches 10. When I become 10, 10 is not less than 10, this condition is false, and here it will stop. It will not execute the body. That is while loop. Yes, no. The syntax is a little
Yes.
bit different than for loop, but well, as you can see. I've told you before, now sometimes it's quite difficult. For example, in my example, it's difficult to choose which one, because I can use either. But in general note, if you know how many times you are going to loop, for example, I hear 10 times, 20 times, I know how the number of the times, you can go with for loop. If you do not know how many times you're gonna loop, it's a good idea to go with the while loop. I'll show you an example. Let's show you another example. For example, here, I can ask the user for some, so I can just say, const. Actually, I need let. Let me declare a variable let user input. And here I can just declare the variable, or I can just give it a value empty string. There is no difference between the two, by the way. I can just not give it a value, or I can just give it a value empty string. And I'm just giving the value empty string to tell that I'm gonna save string inside this user input. Now, what I can do here, I can use a while loop here. I can just say while user input, while no user input, then I can prompt the user again. What's that supposed to mean? What does this code mean? Well, User input, what does the user input? What is this value here? What is this one?
String.
This is the blank
Empty string.
No,
empty
it's
string.
not a blank. It's
Empty
empty
string.
string. Empty string is trucy or falsy?
False.
Falsy. So what I'm going to do here, my condition here is say, as long as this value here, as long as this value is not empty string and also not null, I want you to ask the user again and again and again and again until the user enters something. When the user enters something, as you can see here, I'm saving it. When the user enters something, I will save this something here. And of course, if the user enters something, it will not be empty string, it will be string. And as we know, strings are trucy value. So here it will be true, not true, it will be false, and my loop gonna stop. Why did I use the while loop here? Because simply I don't know how many times a user just click cancel or click OK without entering anything. I have no idea this loop, how many times it's gonna run. But if I'm using just to log something here, I know how many times it will go run. It's a good idea, as I told you, to use the for loop. But in this example, I don't know how many times my loop's gonna run. It depends on the user. So let me show you what I mean. If I refresh here, and notice if I go in here and I click run, notice if I click cancel, it will prompt me again. So I don't know how many loop, so because it depends on the user. If user click 4 times, that means it will go 4 times, maybe, or 5 times. If the user click OK million times, that means my loop is gonna go. I don't know how many times this loop is gonna run, depending on the user. So as long as you can see, I click cancel or OK, my loop is gonna prompt me again, ask me again. But if I enter something, notice I enter a string. As you know, the string is trucy value because it's not an empty string, it has a value. And because this user input here, it's a string, not an empty string, it will be string with value, so it will be trucy, not true, it will be false, and my loop, it will stop. Now, if I see click on voila, my loop, as you can see, stop here. Is the idea clear?
Yeah, Sam, can you write an example of using entering like 5 numbers or 10 numbers or 10 characters? Can you use that example, please? Explain that, please, in while loop.
What do you mean?
Okay, while let user input empty screen, then while user input is equal to 10, something like that, or less than 10 something. So then user input, it will be prompt have to be 10 characters before you can get out of the loop.
I can say if user input dot length
That length,
is not equal to let's say 10.
yeah.
So here, what was going to do here, it will ask the user again and again and again until the user enters something with 10 character. Exactly must be 10. If the length here is 10, so if it's not equal to 10, it will loop again and again and again and again and again. But if it's equal to 10, it will stop. Okay, because here it will be so here, as long as user length is not equal to 10, that will be true. But if it's equal to 10 here, it should stop. So let's try to go to this one here. I will just say, please enter something with length 10, please. Enter a 10 character string. So let's try to do it. User length here, if it's 10, 10 not equal to 10. So when the user enters something with 10 character, and I'm saying here 10 is not equal to 10, of course it's false because 10 is equal to 10, right? And if now the user enter any character, but they're not 10, my loop is going to go again and again and again. Let's try to test it. Let's try to run. Let me enter one character. And as you can see, it's asked me again. Let's enter this one character. Whatever I enter, as you can see, even if I cancel or do something here, cannot read property of null. Yes, because here I did enter a null here. So what I can do here, I can just see if user input and user input length is not equal to 10. So I will put 2 conditions just in case the user did not enter anything, so I do not get this mistake. Let's run again. Run. Yeah, but the default value here, it's actually an empty string. So let's give it some value like that. And as you can see, Daniel, you told me that given a default value is not useful. Actually, in this example, it's useful. Why? Because my condition here, I'm saying user input must be truthy. What does truthy mean? So if the user input is just an empty string like that, empty string is what? Is it truthy or falsy?
False.
False, that means this condition, it will be false, so it will not work. But if I give it any value here, h, for example, this one, it will be true, okay? And the user input, it will not be equal to 10, so it will start my loop. So let's try to go now and try to do this one here. Let's just click on run, and it's running. If I click on cancel, yeah, but I need to check the null as well. Let me not use for this one here. It will be a little bit complex for you, actually. Let's just do this one here. So, okay, what is the condition here? The condition is I am asking the user to enter a character. It must be 10 character. If it's not 10 character, it will ask again and again and again and again until, so 1 character, it will ask me again. 4 character, ask me again. That 6 character, it will ask me again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will ask me again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if it's 10, as you can see, my loop stops simply like that. Is the idea clear? Yes, Harley?
Yes.
Not clear?
Yeah, not clear.
No?
Yeah, I know what you did right now, but I still need to go some extent that the error we get when you do cancel and when we use the other code you were using before. So why is it not working? Can you try to, you said that you don't want to explain it. Can you do a little bit on that so I can be able to take out, I
Yeah.
can come with doubt. What you did before, like, you put like
Yeah, fine. Let's debug our code. Let's go to our code here. Click. Now what I'm doing here, I just declare a variable, give it an empty string. Click, and here I'm checking the user input length here, it will be 0. Why? Because the user input value here is empty string. Of course, as you can see here, so 0 is not equal to 10. So this is true. And this condition here, it will be true, as you know, because 0 is not equal to 10. Now my loop, it will start working here. It will ask me now for an input, voila. Now if I hit cancel, notice what will happen. If I hit cancel, the user input here is null. And null does not have a function called length. Do you understand what I'm saying, Harley?
Yeah.
So user input, it will become null. And null does not have this function length. It's only for string. And that's the reason why it's giving me this error. So how can I avoid this error? Well, what I can do, I can just say, let me go to my code here. So what I can say here, I can just say, if user input, it's equal to null, or user input dot length here like that. So if the user now enter a null here, it will go in here like that. So it will check the condition because this one, it will be true. And now I will not have this same problem. So let's refresh it. Let's try to run our code for now. And if I say cancel, I don't have this error anymore, as you can see. It will just ask me again. Same idea here. So it will never go, even if I click on cancel on this one. I need to enter 10 characters, then my loop will stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Enter and voila, it stopped. So the reason why it gave me this error simply because when I cancel it, the value it's null, and null does not have this function length. This function only exists on the string, as you can see here, string. So this function belongs to the string, returns the length of the string. And when the user click cancel, I will have null. That means I don't have this function in null. That's the reason why it gave me an error. So all I have to do, I need to add this condition here. I'm saying if user input is null, I want you to run the loop. Don't go to this one. Don't check this one. I want you directly to go to this one here. Is it okay?
And it's okay. So in this kind of like this while loop right now, okay, can you add another condition apart from this, or there is the length of the condition you can add on a while loop in this kind of case?
You can
Can
put
you
as long as you want to.
can you put two example, please?
What do you mean?
No, two more condition on this code you have right here. I just want to,
I like
you
that.
know,
Do
okay,
like that, for example.
you cannot put it in the bottom. You gotta be in that field, in that same line or what? Is it possible?
To put condition here,
Yeah,
what type of condition? If, for example,
I don't know, and anything other condition. Like when you use like if statement, so you can do if else. But in this kind of case, can you put it in this kind of place like this, or
you
the while
can.
loop is different?
No, you can. You can put any condition you want to. If user input here, if user input is equal to hello, then let's try to type yes, you console.log hello, for example. You can put any condition here.
Okay.
No problem.
Now I understand right now. I understand. Thank you. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, is the while loop clear?
Yes,
For me, I don't know someone else.
Yes.
Sam,
Okay.
can we put in a while loop, we can put another loop, while loop or for loop inside any loop?
Yes, you can nest loops, yes. So you can have another loop inside this loop, but you need to be careful a little bit because you have two loops here. When you nest loops inside each other, your code become a little bit complex. So yeah, you can put another while loop here. It's fine. Okay, we've seen the for loop, we've seen the while loop. Now let's see another loop which is called do while loop. Now we don't use this loop a lot, but sometimes if I want to execute the code inside the body loop at least once, it's a good idea to use do while loop. So for example, I can console.log do while loop, or I can just say console.log hello. And here, and I can put my condition. The syntax is a little bit different here. Notice something. In the for loop and while loop, first we check the condition, then we will execute the body of the loop. In this example, it's not the case. So what's going to do here, first it will log this one, then it will check the condition. So it will log, so my code here in the body of the loop, it will run at least one time. So it will run one time, and then it will check the condition. Then if the condition is true, it's gonna execute it again. If it's false, it's not gonna execute it. It's not like while or for loop. For example, in this example, my code will print hello, although the condition is false. Why? Because first it's doing it, then it's checking the condition. It's a bit different. It's different from for or while loop, because for and while loop, first we check the condition, then we execute the code. Here, no. For the first time, we execute the code one time, then we check the condition. And if the condition is true, we will execute it again as long as the condition is true. If it's false, it will not be executed. If I go here and try to run, well, as you can see, I have hello for one time. So when do we want to use this loop? Again, if we want to run our code at least one time. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We have two more loop in JavaScript. We have for off and for in. Now for off, as I told you, we use it with arrays. And of course, remember, string is array of characters, so we can use it with string as well, because simply string is just an array. For of loop, so in order to do that, I can just create an array here. I can just say const nums, and here I can create 5 numbers. And now what I want to do, I want to loop through all these 5 numbers. So what I can do here, I can just say for, and now here I need to declare a variable again. I can use either let or const, so let me use let. What's the single of nums? What is the single of nums?
None.
Num.
None.
So I can just say let num of nums, and then here, as you can see, I can simply, maybe this is not good here. Let's just name it numbers. Bit okay. Voila. So numbers here, I can just name it num or single number. It's fine. Let's just name it num. So what this loop is doing, this loop is never gonna be an infinite loop. So it will run depending on the length of my array. So how long the length of my array here? How many items do I have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So 5. That means this loop is run how many times?
5 times.
5 times. So I will just declare my variable, and here you can name it whatever you want to, but I mean, what makes sense here to take the single of whatever here is numbers, whatever, you can take the single form of numbers, and then you can just access the number here. And that should be simple actually. If I run it like that, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as you can see. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do receive a lot of information. I'm kind of a little bit, I want to know the difference within for off and for each. You did the same thing with loop, or for each is not, or it's not a loop?
For each it's a method, it's not a loop.
It's a method. Okay, thank you.
Again, for of loop, we can use it with string and arrays, just with array, because as I told you, I'm not going to repeat it again. String is just an array. So the syntax here, just for, and then I need to declare a variable. You can name this variable whatever you want to. But again, normally we take the single form of this one, of numbers, the name of my array. And then here, my num here, the first time it will be 1. The second time it will be 2. The third time it will be 3. The fourth time it will be 4. The fifth time it will be 5. Yes. Is it clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
For the rest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for of, it's not that complex. It's actually secure because it will never be infinite loop. Let's go to the second one or the last one here, for in. And for in, simply we use it with objects. For object, as you can see. So let me say const human or cat. The cat has a name. Fluffy, it has a color. It has, I don't know, some stuff like that. Age, voila. Now, if I want somehow to loop through this property or the key, that's what you call key, that's value, key value, key value. If I want to loop through the keys, I can use for in, so I can just say for. Also, I need to declare a variable. I can just say let key, because I'm looping through the keys, so it's a good idea to name it key. Let key in, what's the name of my object? Cat. And now here I can log the key. And of course, if I log the key, what it will give me? What I will see if I'm gonna log the key? It will print only the keys. What are the keys do I have?
3 keys.
Name, color,
Name,
age.
color, age.
Color, age. Those are the keys here. And if I go here, refresh, run, as you can see, ignore this one. Let me just get rid of this one so it will not bother us. Let's go back again, refresh. And if I try to run, as you can see, name, color, age, that's the key. So it print all the keys. If I want the values as well, well, here I cannot use the dot operator. It is not possible to use a dot operator. We have another way to access the array value. I'm sorry, the key value, or the value here. This one, that's the value. So that's the key, that's the value. I want the value. How can I access the value? I can use bracket, but it will be bracket what? So I can put my object cat bracket index will work. Bracket index will work. If
Put
I say bracket 1, it will work or not?
key. We have to put key, given key.
Yes.
Yes.
If I put 1, it will work.
Yes, but it's execute just name.
Let's see if it's,
No. Sorry.
let's see if it will work or not. Run and undefined. Here, I told you again, there is a huge difference between object and arrays. They are not the same. Arrays are indexed, the order matter. Here, the order does not matter. That means we don't have indexes. And we need to use bracket key. Here, key. We cannot use bracket 0 or 1 with object. We can use it with arrays, but not with objects. And if I do the keys here, I refresh and I run, voila, fluffy, white. Is the idea clear? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, very important, you need to understand. Bracket index, we can use it with arrays. String, of course, but string is an array, as I told you. Bracket index, we use it with array. Bracket key, we use it for object. We cannot use the indexes for the object because I told you, the object is an order list, and because the order does not matter, I cannot use the indexes. I need to use a key. For array, it's very different. The array's order is important. And that's the reason why we use the indexes. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all the type of loop we have in JavaScript, at least. Should be simple. So we've seen type conversion or type coercion. We've seen loops in JavaScript. I need to explain a little bit operation in JavaScript. So we have, or sorry, different operators, just like arithmetic operator, comparison, logical operator, and assignment operator. And after that, I just need to explain maybe something else. No, we've seen the condition here. So if else should be easy for you. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to explain something else, which is a switch statement. Okay, let's go to our logical operator first. So operator in JavaScript. Again, I explained it yesterday, but just I'm going to repeat it. Operators. In JavaScript, we have a lot of operators, or we have different type of operators. Actually, what the hell is console? I don't want you. Okay, we have different type of operators in JavaScript. First, the easiest one, it will arithmetic operator. So arithmetic operator, what are those? Well, just the normal plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus. This one is the stuff here in JavaScript, and also exponentiation. Voila. That should be simple. So plus, I am quite sure you know how to plus two number or minus or multiplication. In programming, we use the asterisk for multiplication, division /. And here modulus and exponentiation, I'm going to just give you another example. So if I console.log, for example, 10 modulus 3, what will be the result? What do you think the result will be?
1.
Why?
Minder.
So how many 3 we have in 10?
3.
3, we have 3. And is there any one stays?
Yes, just 1.
Yeah, 1. And that's the reminder here, which will be 1, simply like that. If you are not sure about something, it's very simple. Just go to your console.log, or just to your console and just say 100 modulus 3, and it will give you, as you can see, 1. So this console, we use it for testing. You can test anything you want to. It will make it easy for you. Modulus should be simple. Also, we have the exponentiation. And what's the exponentiation? Well, if I draw it, it will be easy for you to understand. So normally in math, just like I explained yesterday, we have some what we call the exponent or the exponentiation. So if I have 10 to the power of 2, what does that supposed to mean? Well, it means 10 multiplied by itself 2 times, because I have 2 here. Voila. So if I go now and I try to do the same here, if I just say log 10. And to do the exponentiation, I need 2 asterisk, not 1 for multiplication. And 2, of course, here it will give me 100 because 10 multiplied by 10, it is 100. And if I go to my console, refresh, hit run, voila, 1 and 100, as you can see. Clear?
Yeah.
So arithmetic operations are the simple one you are doing in math here. It's not a big deal here. I'm not going to go through them because they are simple, actually. The second type here is what we called comparison operator. Comparison. So comparison here, I'm comparing two value here, or two variable, or whatever I want to, or two types, whatever I want to. You need to understand in the comparison, always the result will be, what will be the result?
Boolean.
Yes. Yes, so in comparison, always the result, it will be a Boolean. That's the reason why I'm comparing them. So I'm comparing both of them. Either result will be yes or no, true or false. That's it. So for example, if I try to log, let's use a greater than or less than. So if I say 10 is greater than 3, either it is true, either it's false, right? I mean, there is no other option. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have greater than. I could have greater than and equal. I will make some space so you can see it because my VS Code just merged them together. So there's no space between them, and just to show you here. Okay, so greater or equal, voila. After that, I could have less than. So I'm saying here 10 is less than 3. Of course, it's false. So here it will be false, of course. Or I can just say 10 is less or equal to 3, also still false, but I can use less than or equal. I can compare both, as I told you, just like that. Yeah, using equality, that's what you call equality. So equality here means just check the value of both. Do not check the type. I don't care about the type. Just check only the value. And if I compare 10 with 3, of course, they are not the same. That's the reason why I get false. But if I compare 10 with 10, of course, they are the same. Voila. So here should be true. Yes. In JavaScript, try to avoid this equality. Use strict equality, 3 equal. Why? Because this one here, it will not only check the value, it will only also check the type. It will make sure both of them are number and both of them have the same value. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, not equality, it is the opposite. So if I say 10, so I need to put exclamation mark, 1 equal. I cannot have space between them, but my VS Code will change the sign, as you can see. Voila, let's make it this way. I'm saying 10 is not equal to 10. Again, that's what you call not equality. And you should not use this one. You should use this one here, which will be exclamation mark, equal, equal. You cannot have 3 equal and exclamation mark. That's not correct. You can only have either 1 or 2. That's it. Either 1, because they have exclamation mark here. So no space between them, of course. So exclamation mark equal or exclamation mark equal equals. That's what you call strict inequality. And they are just doing the opposite. Other than that, they should be simple here. Any problem here? Problem?
No.
Okay, so comparison operators, they should be simple as well. We have logical operator and then assignment operator, and we have something also in JavaScript which is called bitwise operator. We don't use bitwise operator a lot in JavaScript. If you are studying C or C++ or Java or something like that, it will be quite important. But for you, we are not using it in JavaScript. So I will keep it later. Maybe I explain it in the future. But is there not important for you? Arithmetic comparison. So here I can go with logical operator. Logical operator, we have 3. We have and with and both sides here. So for example, I can just say 1 is greater than 10 and 10 is less than 20. Of course, it will be false. Why it's false? Why this condition is false?
Because 1 is not greater than 10.
So in AND, both sides need to be true. This one and this one, both of them. But here I'm saying 1 is greater than 10. Of course, it's false. Here, this one is true. 10 is less than 20, but I don't care because with AND, both sides need to be true. And voila, if one of them is false, the result it will evaluate it to false. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to make it very clear here, if I say true, true, and true, it will give me true. If I say false, false, and true, it will give me false. Same idea, true and false, it will give me false, and false and false, it will give me false. So with AND operator, it will only give me true if both sides are true, as you can see. If one of them is false or if both of them are false, it will be evaluated to false. Is the idea clear? It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to OR operator. Or in JavaScript, actually in C as well, in most programming language, if I'm not mistaken, except Python. Python, we use AND as written. We don't use it as is simple. And OR, we are using it OR like that. But anyways, that's not my point. Now here, when I'm using OR, one of them need to be true. If both of them are true, it's okay, it will give me true. If one of them is true, it will also give me true. But only if both of them are false, it will give me false. What do I mean by that? So that means true and true, it will be true. False and true, it will be true. And true and false, it will be true, but only false and false here, as you can see, it will be false. So only both sides, when both sides are false, then it will give me false. But if one side is true, it will give me still true. Voilà. If both of them are true, it will give me true. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. The not operator is super important. We're using it a lot. And by the way, it's very simple actually. So the not operator, it just converts the value. So if it's true, it will make it false. If it's false, it make it true. So for example, if I say not 0, what it will give me this one? It will give me true or false. If I say not 0,
True.
true, why?
True.
Why?
Because 0 is false. It's not a 0.
Very good.
That is true.
0 is falsy. That means it will be false. Not false, it's true. Voila. If I say 0, hello, what it will give me? It will give me true or false. And why?
False.
Why?
Because
hello is
hello, it's true.
be
Not
true, and not true, it will be
false.
like that. Voila. And here you can test this operator also. Here, for example, I can just say not 0. As you can see, it give me true. Not hello, like that, and it will give me falsy, of course, as you can see. Why? Because this one here is string, and a string, anything but an empty string, it will be truthy, not truthy, it's falsy. If I use it like that, not false, what it will be not false? Not false.
True.
True. And not true.
False.
Yes, it will just convert it, that's it. Voila. So the not operator, it just converted. So if it's true, it will make it false. If it's false, it will make it true. That's what we call flipping. Is the idea clear?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be simple actually as well. So we've seen the logical operator, arithmetic operator, comparison operator. We still have assignment operator, which is actually quite simple. Assignment operator, I've explained a little bit here. For example, I can just say const num, it's equal to 10. Actually, I need to declare, I'm going to change the value, so it's a good idea to do it with let, otherwise I will get an error. So num is 10. This is what we call the assignment. That's not equality, by the way, again. So it's not like mass equality. That means here, just create a variable and put inside the box this value. At any point, I can take this value and change it. If I want to increment num by 1, well, I can use the increment here. I can just say num plus plus. This is the same as saying num, it's equal to num plus 1. That means give me the value of num, add 1 to it, and then reassign it simply like that. And I have a shorthand for it, which is this one here, num plus plus. I can say num minus minus as well. So if I log it now, it will be 11. If I say num minus minus and log it, it will become 10 again. Voila, it should be simple. Is there any problem here?
No.
Okay. Also, as I told you, I can use, I can not just assign here, not use, so here, if I want to increment by 1, decrement by 1, but I can use also another shorthands. So for example, if I want to add 5 to my num, you can just say num plus equal to 5. Now that's the same as saying, it's the same as saying num, here, num, give me the value of num, add 5 to it and reassign it. This one is the same. It's just in programming here, it's just a shorthand. You can use it simply like that. So this one and this one is the same. Also, if I go with negative, for example, minus, same idea. Same for multiplication, same for division, same for modulus, exponential. It's the same idea simply. So I can have some shorthand, as you can see. Now, this shorthand, most of the time we can use it for basic operation. So we can use it for plus, minus, and division. I don't think we use a lot for division as this one. Most of the time we use it for these two. But you need to understand that we can have a shorthand. Is it clear? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So that's the different operator in JavaScript. We have arithmetic operator, just normal plus minus, stuff like that. Comparison always evaluated to a Boolean, so I will have either true or false. Logical operator, I can put 2 condition, and with and here, if I'm using and, both sides need to be true, otherwise it will return me false. With or, one side need to be true. If both of them are true, it's okay, it will give me true. But if one of them is true and the other is false, it's fine, it will still give me true. It will only give me false if both sides are false. Not operator, it will just flip my Boolean. So if the value is true, it will make it false. If it's false, it will make it true. Assignment operator is just simple here. Just as you can see, it's close to arithmetic operator. It's just we use this assignment here. And yeah, that's simply. Any question? Question? Yes, no.
No.
Yeah, that's enough. I've talked too much today. Tomorrow I'm gonna explain the switch statement. I'm gonna explain also the break and continue inside the while, inside loops. So you need to understand the break and continue. But for today, that should be enough. Any question? Question?
No.